Hello, my name is Sasha. I'm an indie author. I write urban fantasy. I'm currently transitioning from being a hobbyist to a career author. This is the author journey. Mistakes. Don't you just love them? You learn so much, and they're always way better when they're happening to someone else. So let this be me telling you to not do what I did, which was cheap out on a book cover artist. Now this happened a few months ago, so I'm over it, not a big deal at all. It was a great learning experience and a great learning opportunity for anyone who will listen. So, story time. Like a lot of writers and authors, I was at this point where I was just really starting to get serious about my writing career. I had signed up to go to the Romance Writers of America conference. I was feeling like a badass, I'm an entrepreneur starting this writing shit author indie queen. And I was like, writing every day, hauling ass, doing all the work, but not really feeling that gratification of having something that I could hold and say, yeah, this is what, I'm doing. This is official. I'm legit. And I definitely jumped the gun, and you will hear this advice over and over and over again. Please take it. Do not, however tempting it may be, go for a cheap, and I say cheap, book cover artist. The way I work, I can plan the shit out of anything. I can definitely overplan, but still those are just concepts, right? So for me, getting a book cover was kind of like a box that needed to be checked on a long list of things that needed to be checked off. And I wanted to feel like I had something done. So I did a thorough search of like a few hours. That's not thorough. So I did a thorough search and really compared some book cover artists, and I had in my mind what I wanted my book cover to be. I was like, I don't have to go with a kind of expensive book cover artist because it's kind of romantic and I just want to do like man chest and letters. So I found a book cover artist team of 2 people online, and I will not name names because I couldn't tell you who they are because, I'm over it. Found them online and paid upfront for what I needed. I did a very thorough, actually pretty thorough description of what I wanted. I want my name super titled. I want the book's name subtitled. I want this kind of photo. This is what I'm looking for. And I attached photos that I liked. I attached photos of theirs that they did that I liked. I attached photos of other authors' books that I liked. I made it as crystal clear in my mind what it was that I was looking for. It was for Oath of a Viking, which isn't going to be out till next year. But like I said, I wanted something that I could really put my hands on. So I explained, hey, it's a guy. He's got man chest. He has tattoos. They are Nordic. Whatever you can do with that. If nothing, man chest is cool. I'm down. It's romantic, but it's not a straight romance, and it's definitely not an erotica. I don't need it to look hardcore. I'm not really big into the overly muscled, super shiny with the veins popping. Not my aesthetic. And I went down literally a few paragraphs. I am a writer, after all, and described exactly what I wanted. A few weeks later, I got my book cover back. And y'all, he spelled my name wrong. 1, and 2, I mean, do people think a tattoo around the belly button is like hot? Cause that's what I got on my cover. A belly button tattoo. Yeah. It was a sun in a circle around the navel. Very 90s, The model, while not overly muscled, definitely looked like he could have at some point been on a kind of drug. I don't know. That's very judgmental of me. The model's fine. It was just what I communicated to my book cover artist isn't exactly what I got back, it looked really a lot closer to a cover for like more of a hardcore, possibly homosexual erotica, which, while is a thing, isn't my thing that I asked for. And he spelled my name wrong. So I really started to doubt that he'd really read my description at all. And it was a little crushing because I was depending on this person, and it's not their fault. I should have known better. I was out $150. So some people are out there nodding their head and saying, yeah, you should have known. And I do. And I'm sharing that knowledge for everyone. First person, this is what happens when you do that thing that everyone tells you not to do and cheap out on a book cover artist. Yeah, I would show it, but honestly, it makes me cringe. And like I said, I was like a little crushed, and my husband wanted to see it, and I couldn't show him. And then I did, and the first thing he said was, "They spelled your name wrong." I'm like, I know, it's your name first. Of course you noticed that they spelled it wrong. A little important when it comes to branding. So, to elevate this complaint about a mistake that I made, the things that you are looking for in a book cover artist, one, have them come at a recommendation. If you don't know anyone, like I didn't know. I don't know anyone. So I didn't know that they weren't great. In fact, I think they were recommended on a list of some sort that I pulled off of the internet. The internet is full of lists, and I pulled them off of one of them. Fine. Someone liked them. I liked some of the other things that they did, so I wasn't even sure. I was like, is this even like your other stuff? Or is it, I would like it if it wasn't for me? But then again, I am not into belly button tattoos. And he had like a big cross tattoo also. And I was like, sir, a little Scandinavian history for you. I am talking year 800 Nordic Viking chieftain, y'all. And Christianity with the crosses was not quite part of his particular culture. So, it's not what I was looking for. Anyway, I do digress. So, what you're looking for in a book cover artist is not the cheapest guy. If you're gonna go cheap, just take some classes on GIMP and do it yourself. If you're gonna cheap out anyway, if you need to, at least you retain some control. And this mistake probably did kind of trigger some more of my control freak tendencies that I didn't know I had until I started this whole, I wanna be an indie author thing. And I'm like, no one can tell me what to do about this thing that I'm doing, and I'm gonna do it. So there, what you are looking for in a book cover artist is going to be someone, one, who you can communicate with and know that you're understood as far as what branding you're going for, as far as your colors and your tones and the feel of your book, the tone, because if what's inside the book doesn't match the book cover, you done goofed. The same goes for your website, for all of your branding. If you've got super sexy, super erotic book cover and it's like very tame or all thrill on the inside, that's a little deceptive for someone who's just like, yeah, let me just get somewhere private and give this book a go. And it's like a political thriller. Like, that's not cool. That's cheap. That's a cheap buy. It's a cheap win. And we are not cheap win authors. We are badass indie authors in the making. A good book cover artist understands trends. If Manchester isn't in right now, they'd be like, hey, I'm actually seeing with urban fantasies this kind of theme going on. A lot of teals and oranges and purples and blues, and a lot of women actually on the book cover to represent the story that's inside, as opposed to necessarily a sexy book cover. A good book cover artist, one who cares about their work and cares about their customers, as opposed to filling an order sheet, filling their calendars with quick $100 pops. will be able to communicate that to you. They know their industry. It's the difference between a real professional and someone who just has a skill. So, is it important? Yes. Is it the most important? Like, yes. Because you can have a book that's full of wonderful prose and badass fight scenes and super erotic moments and tense situations, but if your book cover looks like crap or if it looks cheap, then people who are looking for quality are not going to find your book. So am I over it? Yes, totally over it. Lesson learned. You have to think of your book as an investment. It's a time investment and it's a money investment. If you haven't come to terms with the money that you're going to have to put into this book, you need to start doing that today. Indie authoring and writing in general, but especially if you're indie because you're putting it all up front. It is definitely a spend money to make money move because it starts with your book cover, but there's also the editing, the advertising, all of that stuff is part of this whole experience of being an indie author. And again, you're in control. You are in control of making your mistakes, of making your investments, and choosing which of those you're doing. That $150 or more is gone. And now I have nothing to show for it except for this wonderful, awesome story that I get to share with you. But if I could have it back, I would. And just have taken that lesson seriously the first time. So I had in mind what I wanted. Okay, so I sent him photos like this. Man chest. This one. Man chest. This one. Man chest. A little fancy with the purple eye. Youre, girl. He's so cool. But that's not what I got. I mean, think of the worst Instagram Photoshop of like some Eastern European who's like trying to make himself look badass, but was stuck in the 90s. I don't even know how to describe it. I think honestly I've mostly put it out of my mind like a blackout, but that's fine. Totally fine. Anyway, I hope you learned the lesson from my mistake. I know I have. Thank you so much for watching this video. Once again, my name is Sasha Keogh. I am an indie author. I do write urban fantasy, and I've got a couple stories coming up that I really need some eyes on. So if you are interested in beta reading with me, please go to sashakeogh.com, sign up for my newsletter. There will be a link to sign up to beta read with me, and I will follow up with you after that. Or, of course, just approach me directly. You can email me, sasha@sashakeogh.com. You can message me on Instagram, which I'm mostly on. I am also on Facebook. Thank you so much for spending the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, I am just starting out on this journey, so, not an expert. I'm just putting myself out here to kind of document my not knowing what the hell I'm doing-ness. This has been another installment of Don't Do What I Did. My name is Sasha Keogh, and this is the author journey. Later!